Throughout the 1800s, the development of steamships and the decline of sailing vessels started to whittle away at the Dill boatmen's livelihoods. With less ships anchoring in the Downs, the many hundreds of men who went afloat and worked the beach found their services were no longer in demand for ship attendance work. To accommodate the vast amount of boatmen waiting for employment, kindly residents created a charity and acquired buildings which could be used for them to gather. Several boatmen's reading rooms sprung up around Deal and Warmer in the middle to late 19th century. It was Lucy Hill, the maiden daughter of Admiral Sir John Hill, who gave a subscription of £300 to start building for the boatmen of North Dill as a memorial to her father. This money was topped up with a further £713 from the efforts of Lady Granville and Countess Sidney. As Lucy's father was the last captain of Sandown Castle, apparently much of the cairn stone blocks from the derelict castle were used in the structure's foundation. The location of the property was on the corner of Exchange Street and was completed in 1885. The aim of this charity was to provide a building with a reading room, tea and coffee facilities, and also rooms for destitute sailors. On the evening of the opening ceremony, 75 boatmen were treated to a dinner in the newfound building. Shortly after, the Mission to Seamen rented the property and installed the Reverend Thomas Stanley Trainer. He then became the minister to the Downs. Reverend Trainer made good use of his new base and placed a small boat on the beach opposite the mission. With the crew for this vessel, he would visit the ships that were anchored in the Downs. Once aboard, Trainer would hand out books for the sailors to read and endeavour to get them to sign a pledge to become teetotal. His efforts must be admired in trying to convert some of the hardest men alive to his and the Victorian beliefs of sobriety. He also became the local lifeboat secretary, and the stories of their exports were published in his books. His way with words enthralled, and his publications went into many reprints, and the town of Dill became known throughout Britain. In 1932, the Mission to Seamen had to relinquish the property for financial reasons, and a year later Dill Borough Council purchased it with public subscriptions for the sum of £25, which would include the building and its contents. The new council-run trust and charity was to be called the Boatmen's Institute. Eventually, with the demise of the North Dill Boatmen, the Dill Borough Council offered it for sale, and it became, as it is today, a private residence.